Hash the last laugh. The rain drummed against the cafe windows as Elena stirred her coffee, watching the steam curl upward like tiny ghosts of her past. 5 years had passed since the divorce, 5 years since she'd walked away from the man who had systematically destroyed her self-worth with his cruel words and emotional neglect. Elena. The voice made her blood freeze. She didn't need to turn around to know who it was, that mocking tone was burned into her memory like a brand. Marcus stood behind her, his expensive suit unable to hide the slight paunch he'd developed, his once charming smile now twisted into something predatory. Well, he said, sliding uninvited into the seat across from her. Look what the cat dragged in. Still haunting coffee shops alone, I see. Elena met his gaze steadily, her hands calm around her cup. The woman who had cowered before his verbal assaults was gone, replaced by someone who had learned her worth through years of healing and growth. Marcus, she said simply, her voice neither warm nor cold. What do you want? He leaned back, that familiar smirk playing on his lips. Just happened to be in the neighborhood. Thought I'd see how my barren ex-wife was doing. Still unable to give anyone what they really want, I assume. The words that once would have shattered her now bounced off like rain on glass. Elena had spent years in therapy, understanding that his cruelty said nothing about her and everything about his own brokenness. You always did have such a poetic way with words, she replied, taking a sip of her coffee. I'm surprised you're not too busy with your new wife to stop and chat. His smirk faltered slightly. Sarah's, we're very happy. I'm sure you are. Elena's voice carried no sarcasm, just quiet observation. Though I heard through mutual friends that she's been having some difficulties. Fertility issues, wasn't it? Marcus's face darkened. That's none of your business. Of course not. I just find it interesting how life works out sometimes. Elena set down her cup and looked directly at him. You see, Marcus, you spent our entire marriage telling me I was worthless because I couldn't give you children. You made me believe that my value as a woman, as a human being, was tied to my ability to conceive. Because it's true, he snapped. What's the point of a woman who can't? Who can't what? Elena interrupted, her voice growing stronger. Who can't fulfill your narrow definition of purpose? You know what I've learned in these 5 years, Marcus. I've learned that my worth isn't determined by my reproductive system or by the opinion of someone too small-minded to see beyond his own selfish needs. She reached into her purse and pulled out her phone, scrolling to a photo. This is Dr. Sarah Martinez. She won the Nobel Prize in Medicine last month. She's never had children. This is Amanda Foster, she just became the youngest CEO in her company's history. Also childless by choice. She scrolled through several more photos. And this is Maya Patel, who runs 3 successful nonprofits that have helped thousands of children worldwide. She's also never been able to have biological children. Marcus shifted uncomfortably in his seat. You see, Elena continued, while you were busy measuring my worth by outdated standards, the world moved on. I moved on. I went back to school, got my master's degree, and now I run a consulting firm that helps women rebuild their lives after domestic abuse. Emotional abuse, she added pointedly, like what you put me through. That's not, I never hit you, he protested weakly. No, you didn't. You did something worse. You tried to convince me that I wasn't worthy of love, of respect, of basic human dignity. But here's what you never understood, Marcus, my inability to have children wasn't a failure. It was just biology. Your inability to show compassion, to support your wife through a difficult time, to be a decent human being, that was a choice. And it says everything about the kind of man you really are. Elena stood, gathering her things. I heard about Sarah's struggles, and I genuinely feel sorry for her. Not because she can't have children, but because she's married to someone who will likely make her feel worthless for it, just like you did to me. Marcus's face had gone pale. Elena, wait. No, Marcus. I waited for 3 years of our marriage. I waited for you to show me kindness, understanding, love. I waited for you to be the man I thought I married. But you were too busy being cruel to step up and be a partner. She paused at his table, looking down at him with something that might have been pity. I want you to know something. After our divorce, I went through more testing. Turns out, there was nothing wrong with me. The fertility issues we had, they were male factor infertility. Yours, specifically. The blood drained from Marcus's face. That's not possible. The doctor said we had unexplained infertility as a couple. You refused further testing, remember? You were so convinced it had to be my fault that you never bothered to check if maybe, just maybe, the problem was with you. Elena slung her purse over her shoulder. I never told you this because, honestly, it doesn't matter. Having children or not having them doesn't define anyone's worth. But since you seemed to think it was so important to make me feel defective, I thought you should know the truth. She started to walk away, then turned back one last time. Oh, and Marcus, I'm getting married next month. To someone who loves me exactly as I am, who sees my strength instead of focusing on what he thinks I lack. Someone who understands that love isn't about what someone can give you, but about what you choose to give them. As she walked toward the door, she heard him call out behind her, his voice cracking, "Elena, please, I." But she didn't stop. She stepped out into the rain, pulling her coat closer around her, and smiled. The storm was passing, and for the first time in years, she felt completely, utterly free. Marcus sat alone in the cafe, staring at his reflection in the rain-streaked window, finally understanding the difference between a man and a coward, and realizing which one he had chosen to be.